of our souls. In your love we find relation, all connected we are whole. Timeless mystery, quiet conscience, deepest values voice inside. With the drum and with the caldron, we ask you be our God.
Welcome to the home of Unitarian Universalism in Bismarck, Mandan. In our Unitarian Universalist community, we celebrate the wide diversity of beliefs, and we are guided by 7 principles, which can be found on our website. As we gather this morning, we acknowledge that we are in a place with a long history. We are in a place to which Nuita, Hidatsa, Sanish, Dakota, Lakota, Tistista, Métis, and Anishinaabe peoples all claim belonging, connection, and deep knowledge. In recognizing all our relatives here, human and more than human, may we honor who and where we are today and find our way to be in right relationship here. This congregation is a place where we gather to nurture one another, to be supported on our life journey, and to put our beliefs into action through work in our communities and the wider world. My name is Christine Cuyava, and I serve as secretary on your board of trustees, and I'm also the facilitator for today's service. We would like to extend a very warm welcome to any visitors who are here today. We are so glad you are here. Moccasin Flowers by the poet Mary Oliver. All my life, so far, I have loved more than one thing, including the mossy hooves of dreams, including the spongy litter under the tall trees. In spring, the moccasin flowers reach for the crackling lick of the sun and burn down. Sometimes in the shadows, I see the hazy eyes, the lamb lips of oblivion, its deep drowse, and I can imagine a new nothing in the universe, the matted leaves splitting open, revealing the black planks of the stairs. But all my life, so far, I have loved best how the flowers rise and open, how the pink lungs of their bodies enter the floor of the world and stand there shining and willing. The one thing they can do before they shuffle forward into the floor of darkness, they become the trees. Some Unitarian Universalists have a practice of the empty chair. This chair symbolizes the people who are on our hearts, but who cannot be physically present in the room due to absence or death, or in this virtual time, a lack of technology. As we start out June, Pride Month, today, the empty chair is in honor of the individuals involved in the 1969 Stonewall Uprising, which served as a catalyst for the gay rights movement. Over the course of several days, the LGBTQ community surrounding Greenwich Village fought against harassment and social discrimination, all risking their personal safety and some losing their lives. We join Unitarians and Unitarian Universalists all over the world in lighting our chalice. We are in good company. If you have your chalice with you, I invite you to turn on your video to share while we light them with a poem called Out of the Flames by Sarah Eileen Lawal. Out of the flames of fear, we rise with courage of our deepest convictions to stand for justice, inclusion, and peace. Out of the flames of scrutiny, we rise to proclaim our faith with hope to heal a fractured and hurting world. Out of the flames of doubt, we rise to embrace the mystery, wonder, and awe of all there is and all that is yet to be. Out of the flames of hate, we rise with the force of love that celebrates our shared humanity. Out of the flames, we rise. Unitarian Universalists draw on many sources for inspiration and wisdom. Today, we draw from the Buddhist tradition with a piece called Interrelationship by the Vietnamese Buddhist monk and peace activist Thich Nhat Hanh from his book, Call Me by My True Names. You are me and I am you. Isn't it obvious that we are? You cultivate the flower in yourself so that I will be beautiful. I transform the garbage in myself so that you will not have to suffer. I support you. You support me. I am in this world to offer you peace. You are in this world to bring me joy.
Find the stillness, hold the stillness, let the stillness carry me. Find the silence, hold the silence, let the silence carry me. In the Spirit, by the Spirit, with the Spirit giving power, I will find true harmony. Take the essence, hold the essence, let the essence carry me. Let me flower, help me flower, watch me flower, carry me. In the Spirit, by the Spirit, with the Spirit giving power, I will find true harmony.
So in honor of the flower communion, Dee Hendricks has gifted us this morning with these lovely roses. It's nice to have flowers in our virtual sanctuary. So Norbert Capek founded the Unitarian Church in Czechoslovakia, and he had a congregation that looked a lot like our congregation, people who had not been born into Unitarianism, but how they had left other religions behind to join. And then, like now, there was some religious wounding. Mindful of this, Reverend Capek wanted to create some new rituals that would be meaningful and not alienate these new converts who wanted to leave the past in the past. So he looked around for something that might authentically touch people. And like many of us, he found inspiration in nature. So he came up with the idea of a flower communion and introduced it to his congregation in 1923. It was well received, so they kept doing it every spring, just before they took their summer recess. In 1940, Norbert Capek's wife, Maya, was traveling in the United States and shared flower communion with the Cambridge, Massachusetts congregation. Maya was also an ordained minister. In fact, it was she that introduced Norbert to Unitarianism. He was a Baptist when he first met her. But there's a sad twist to this story. Maya couldn't return home from her visit in the States because World War II broke out. And she would learn after the war that Norbert had died in a Nazi concentration camp. The flower communion service, however, lived on, and it spread from one congregation to the next and was adapted in many ways. The general idea, however, is that every congregant brings a flower to church on Flower Communion Sunday, and people are encouraged to pick a flower from their yard or the roadside to bring. Of course, a lot depends on where you live and where you are in the seasons. For colder climes, grocery store flowers might have to do. When entering the building, there are large vases available and everyone adds their flower, creating beautiful bouquets. Often the children of the congregation help people to situate their flowers. Unitarian Universalists put a lot of stock in maintaining a faith that people join of their own free will. This is part of the ritual. We each freely join, bringing our own flower to join with all the others. The vases are brought to the front of the sanctuary. Sometimes the children carry them up there. And the Reverend Dr. Capek would say a prayer and consecrate the flowers while the congregation stood. And to consecrate means to declare or set aside as sacred. After the service, everyone would take a flower home, but not the flower that they came with. And Reginald Zottoli, who explains this ritual on the UUA website, says, the significance of the flower communion is that as no two flowers are alike, so no two people are alike. Yet each has a contribution to make. Together, the different flowers form a beautiful bouquet. Our common bouquet would not be the same without the unique addition of each individual's flower. And thus it is with our church community. It would not be the same without each and every one of us. Thus, this service is a statement of our community. As an aside, I lost track that I was quoting and started to edit that quote. I would have used a lot less thus if it had been me, but I put it back how I found it. So here we are again at our second observation of the flower communion, and here we are again having to do it virtually. It points up that experiencing reality with only our eyes and ears is not entirely satisfactory. We miss smell and touch with these beautiful flowers. We miss one another so much. And we are an adaptable people, resilient and capable. And so we go on, figuring out other ways we can bring the gifts of our unique selves to create something that is greater than the sum of the parts. We have lost people since our last flower communion, including Thelma and Joyce, and gained new people. We are grieving our losses and finding serendipity along the way. So I think the theme for our flower communion this year is gratitude. Gratitude that we have the technology to have been meeting this past year, even as we've been isolated. Where would we have been without computers? And gratitude for beauty. Aren't we so lucky to live on a planet with such a variety of gorgeous flowers? Flowers with their heady aromas, velvety petals, and a scrumptious palette of colors. Grace is sometimes described as an unearned gift. Flowers are just such a gift. And gratitude also for each individual in this congregation. You bring so many things. You might be the one that makes us laugh, the one who understands finances, thank goodness, the one who reminds us to check our biases, the one who dreams big dreams for our building, the one who is showing us what it means to spiritually grow, the one who keeps the stories, the one who shares unconditional love, the one who is courageous enough to be vulnerable. Maybe you're the one who brings a perspective 2 degrees off that helps us all to re-see. The one who brings grace, the one who brings energy and enthusiasm, the one who brings music, the person who brings steadiness, the person who brings wonder, the one who brings reason. Perhaps your presence gifts us with loyalty, gifts us with the big picture, gifts us with insight and thoughtfulness, and gifts us with courage, gifts us with dinner or socks or taking out the garbage. Maybe you are the one who always does what you say you will do when you say you will do it, the one we can count on. Maybe you're the one who reminds us we are part of something larger. Maybe you're the one who is brave enough to share a worldview different than what is generally accepted amongst us and willing to use the forbidden words. Maybe you are the one who keeps the building clean, the yard mown. Maybe you are the one who wants our grounds to reflect our values. Maybe you're the one who is on fire for what this congregation can mean to this community, the one who wants to live into radical love. Maybe you are the one who actually believes we can make the world a better place with our love. Maybe you're the one who does the small chores that nobody notices. Maybe you're the one that keeps a toe in the door, even though your life away from here demands all that you have, because you know that you'll be back when you can. Maybe you're the one that fills out applications, evaluations, reports, an act of love if ever there was one. Maybe you're the one who takes our Unitarian Universalist values and makes them real in the world. Maybe you're the one that thinks deeply and wonders. Maybe you're the one that creates. Maybe you are the one that can sit with uncertainty, the one that learns something new every day. Maybe you are the one that is leaning into the unknown, the one who is synthesizing what you're learning, the person who is dreaming, the person who is becoming a Unitarian Universalist. Maybe you are a special person in this congregation. In fact, I know you are. And all of us together are creating something more than the sum of who we are individually. So I think this congregation is at a tipping point. You will either revert back to your small social club and eventually shut your doors, or you will blossom into a powerful force for good in this community. With all your varied and astonishing gifts, you are capable of being such a force. I've watched the difference in your volunteerism when you fear that you will be the only person committing your time, talent, and treasure. And when you see you are one of many, which means the more you lean in, the more others will lean in. We are so much better together. So today, we bring all our flowers, each unique in all the world and so special, and combine them to create a magnificent bouquet. So please turn on your video and look to your left and look to your right and look at the whole screen. Are you not surrounded by such beauty? Let us begin our flower communion. And I'm so sorry if I missed your video or screwed it up. And I know it was a tough week for some. So even if you are not in this video, you are very much a part of us. And I have to say, while I was looking for the music to set this to, I had a text ping. It was Liz Anderson sharing a song she thought might be our anthem for the coming year. How about that? All right, so I'm gonna switch to the video, but as usual, I have to take my earbuds out. So just relax, look around at all these beautiful people while we switch sound.
Ooh, I believe in the power of kindness. Ooh, I believe in the power of love. Ooh, I believe in the power of kindness. Ooh, I believe in the power of love. We don't know what's coming, but we can help shape what's ahead. Kindness as our currency, the commonwealth is in our hands. So give a little, all, give a lot, don't stop. A helping hand makes the world go round, there's more than enough. Ooh, I believe in the power of kindness. Ooh, I believe in the power of love, power of love. Ooh, I believe in the power of kindness. Ooh, I believe in the power of love. Look up now, people, but keep your ear to the ground. We are the river flowing, generosity abounds. So give a little, all, give a lot, don't stop. A helping hand makes the world go round, there's more than enough. Ooh, I believe in the power of kindness. Ooh, I believe in the power of love, power of love. Ooh, I believe in the power of kindness, Ooh, I believe in the power of love. Honeybees serve sweetness, only to help the world bloom. Bringing love to the flower, from the flower to the fruit. We can learn a thing or two. So give a little, all, give a lot, don't stop. When the summer sun is shining over golden land and sea, and the flowers in the hedgerows welcome butterflies.
extinguish our chalices with words from John Kabat-Zinn, have one more beautiful piece of music from Alicia while we sit with all we have heard and felt today, and then break out into virtual coffee hour groups. And even if you are by yourself, it turns out you are never by yourself, because inspiration is everywhere. And when you start to look around, you'll see it. You are whole and also part of larger and larger circles of wholeness you may not even know about. You are never alone. You already belong. You belong to humanity. You belong to life. You belong to this moment, to this breath. And might I add, you belong here.